Today I'm gonna talk about question number 4, which is about expressing your disliking. When you don't like something, then how to express it in the answer and what type of questions we can have. So, question number 4 is, what do you dislike about dash? It may be, what do you dislike about parties? What don't you like about your job? What do you dislike about eating in restaurants? So students, when you don't like something, then you need to answer your question into 3 parts. This is our answer order. You should answer such types of questions in 3 parts. First, you should identify which aspects of the topic you don't like. Means if the question is what do you dislike about parties, you need to talk about which aspects of the parties you don't like. For example, you maybe don't like harsh music or drinking, so you need to highlight the aspect of the topic. After that, you should describe the degree of dislike, that what extent you don't like something. Then you should support your answer with logical examples and give examples why you don't like them. Students, हर क्वेश्चन को डील करने का एक आंसर ऑर्डर रहता है, जैसे हमने पिछले 3 क्वेश्चंस में भी पढ़ा है. फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल आप क्वेश्चन को अंडरस्टैंड करें और उसके बाद स्टेट करें कि आप या एक्सप्लेन करें कि आपकी क्या इसमें, जैसे प्रेफरेंस को पढ़ा है, आपकी लाइकिंग को पढ़ा है हमने, और यहाँ फिर अगर डिसलाइकिंग के बारे में पूछ रहे हैं तो सबसे पहले आपने उसको डिस्क्राइब करना है, आइडेंटिफाई करना है. आफ्टर दैट आपने, अगर कंपैरिजन है, 2 चीज़ों के बारे में पूछ रहे हैं, या तो कंपैरिजन करें या अपने आंसर को एलेबोरेट करें. और फर्दर उसको और ऑथेंटिक बनाने के लिए यू कैन यूज़ लॉजिकल एग्जांपल्स, और सपोर्ट करने के लिए आप उसको ऐसे बता सकते हैं कि आप क्यों इस चीज़ को प्रेफर करते हैं, या क्यों इस चीज़ को लाइक करते हैं, या क्यों इस चीज़ को डिसलाइक करते हैं. अब उसको सेंटेंसेस को कैसे कंस्ट्रक्ट करना है, कैसे उसको हमने बनाना है, कैसे अरेंज करना है अपने सेंटेंसेस को, लैंग्वेज स्टेप्स की मदद से हम अंडरस्टैंड करते हैं. So students, now we will understand how to construct our answer order with the help of language steps. First we have step number 1, expressing dislike. Means simply you can talk about I don't like parties, I don't enjoy music, so you can use don't, or also you can use native speaker as expression of dislike. स्टूडेंट्स, हमने प्रीवियस लेक्चर में भी एक्सप्रेशन पढ़े थे लाइकिंग के लिए. आई एम क्वाइट इनटू, नेटिव स्पीकर वे टू से समथिंग यू रियली लाइक. आई एम क्वाइट इनटू, आई एम अ बिग फैन ऑफ, आई एम रियली कीन ऑन, आई एम वेरी इंटरेस्टेड इन. So these expressions you can use while talking about disliking. I'm not keen on, I'm not quite into, and you can also use I'm not interested in while expressing your disliking. Second step is expressing degrees of dislike. It means to what extent you don't like. For example, I absolutely hate going to the cinema. For second step, you can use native speaker degrees of dislike words and phrases. There are many ways of saying you don't like something in English. Just saying I don't like it all the time is boring for you and for the listener as well. So try to use some other ways to express the degrees of dislike. For example, I absolutely hate, I don't really like it, I don't really enjoy it. Or you can use I really don't like it in order to express to what extent you don't like something. The third step is use very much. It's very simple. You can use I don't like basketball very much. Here we have 2 examples to understand deeply how to construct our answer. The question 1 is, what do you dislike about parties? Well, I generally enjoy the parties I go to, but there are few things I don't like. I don't like all the drinking that usually happens, and I'm not keen on meeting lots of new people at parties. If there are too many strangers at a party, I find myself having the same conversation again and again. Where are you from? What's your major? What's your job? I can't stand repeating myself, and this kind of conversation is very superficial. You don't really get to know the person at all. Other question is, what don't you like about your job? I don't particularly like my job. I'm not interested in the field I work in, and I don't like my line manager or many of my colleagues very much. They are all so boring. But what I absolutely hate about my job is the commute. It takes me about 2 hours to get to work. I have to travel during the rush hours or on the subway and public buses, which are always jam packed with people. It's terrible. With the help of these two examples, we can understand our 3 language steps. First is expression of dislike. I don't like it, don't like, not keen on, I can't stand, not really, don't particularly like, not interested in, I don't like, I absolutely hate. And second step, to what extent? Here you can say the underline, stand. I can't stand. This is to what extent you are talking about. You to what extent you dislike something. I don't really, I don't particularly, I absolutely hate. And the third step is very much. Here we can see I don't like my line manager or many of my colleagues very much. With the help of these two examples, we can understand how to construct our answer if we have such type of questions. And in these two examples, we also have few vocabulary words. These words are quite often used by the native speakers. First, here, strangers. Stranger mean a person you don't know. Second one is superficial. Superficial mean not meaningful, like very shallow. You see in the example, conversation is very superficial. It means not meaningful. And the third vocabulary word is commute. It means the journey between your workplace and home. The fourth one is jam-packed. It means full of things or people or very close together. So try to use such type of vocabulary words while practicing and communicating. As we already understood the language step 1, expressing dislike. So here we have 2 steps to understand. While using I don't like, you can use expression plus noun, and you can also use expression with verb with ings. So you can use sentences. For example, I don't like parties, I don't enjoy music concerts, I'm not keen on fashion. And in second part, you can use I don't like living in a big city, I don't enjoy watching television. So with the help of these sentences, you can express your disliking. After that, we have language step 2, expressing degrees of dislike. It means to what extent you don't like something. I absolutely hate, I don't really like, I thoroughly dislike. So with the help of these sentences, you can construct your answer perfectly like a native speaker. The third language step is very much. While using very much, there are 3 rules you must remember. You cannot use very before a verb, and you cannot use very much before a verb. Third one is you can use very much after the activity. These 3 rules you should understand. Here we have examples. I like reading romantic novels very much. I really like reading romantic novels. And the second one is I don't like going climbing in the mountains very much. So if you want to sound like a native, I advise you to only use very much with short sentences without any mistake. So students, now we have exercise number 1, rephrasing. So you just need to rephrase the sentences below. The exercise number 2 is the sentence correction. There are some errors. So some of the sentences below are incorrect, some are correct. You need to identify the incorrect sentences and write the correct sentences in the spaces provided. So if you have any question regarding question number 4 or previous questions, just let me know. So I'll make sure to answer each question.